All right. Oh my God, this is the last handout for this chapter. I actually made all these stinking videos. You probably went through them in like 2 days, so go back and watch them again. Make good notes. You know, we're not going to be going over this material live in class, so you really need to make sure that you are taking good notes, because when I get back, I'm assuming that you have gone through these videos in detail so that we can just move on to the digestive system and take our test before spring break. So just a word of warning, like, don't get all complacent. I know some of these videos are short, right? Like I had like a 3 or 4 minute video for some of these. That's awesome. Doesn't take very long to go through them. I hope you kind of review them, stop the video, write out your handouts so that you have them all ready to go. Okay. The last handout is just female hormones. And it's the same as the male as far as the hormones go. We just have different functions. So in the female, you ladies produce gonadotropin releasing hormone in the hypothalamus. It tells your pituitary to release the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone. So you're making both hormones just like the males, except obviously they're going to have different functions. Follicle stimulating hormone, let's do it first just because it's on the left-hand side. So follicle stimulating hormone, like I mentioned in a previous video, is named after what it does. So what it does is it develops this structure that holds your egg called the follicle. So follicle stimulating hormone stimulates the follicle to develop. All right? And the follicle holds your egg. So your egg is going to mature in this follicle. Now, follicle stimulating hormone also tells your ovaries to make estrogen. All right? So that is what follicle stimulating hormone does. I'm going to go over here to luteinizing hormone. So we've got gonadotropin releasing hormone tells your ovaries, not your ovaries. Gonadotropin releasing hormone tells your pituitary gland to produce luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone does a couple things. First of all, luteinizing hormone stimulates ovulation. So you actually ovulate your egg because of luteinizing hormone. It also tells our ovaries to make the pregnancy hormone progesterone. So progesterone, like I mentioned in a previous video, is a hormone that we secrete all month long, but it prepares us for pregnancy. All right. So it's secreted by the ovary, but this is going to help us prepare for pregnancy and then maintain pregnancy once we are pregnant. Now, what's really interesting is once we ovulate our egg, the follicle that holds the egg turns into this structure without the egg called the corpus luteum. So in our monthly cycle, and we're going to go over the female monthly cycle when we get into the reproductive system. So this is kind of a preview for that. But we're going to develop this follicle. Then the egg inside the follicle ovulates, and we lose the egg from the follicle. The follicle then becomes this corpus luteum. Now, the egg is traveling through the fallopian tube, hoping to get fertilized by a sperm. But inside the ovary, this follicle that has become the corpus luteum starts chugging out hormones. And it chugs out estrogen, all right, which is going to do things like maintain the female reproductive system and prepare the endometrium in our uterus to accept a fertilized egg. It also produces progesterone, which was originally made by the luteinizing hormone, but now the corpus luteum is going to produce progesterone, which prepares and builds more endometrium for the developing fertilized egg. The corpus luteum produces that hormone called relaxin. Remember, I told you way back when that relaxin is a hormone that relaxes your pubic symphysis to stretch out your pubic bones during childbirth. So I just wrote that relaxin is going to inhibit uterine contractions, and it makes the pubis or pubic symphysis stretchy. Relaxin also does a few other things because, I mean, think about pregnancy. Your female reproductive structures are stretching and growing, and relaxin, it's named after what it does. It helps relax those tissues. Also, during childbirth, relaxin does more than just make the pubic symphysis stretchy. Relaxin also allows the birth canal, the cervix and vagina and those structures to stretch because you've got to fit ginormous baby head through those tubes. And so relaxin helps us with that. And then again, the corpus luteum is going to secrete this hormone called the inhibin. And like the male inhibin that we just talked about in the last handout, female inhibin also inhibits follicle stimulating hormone. Now, the key to this, and I'll talk more about birth control, of course, when we get into the reproductive system, but in a nutshell, what birth control does is it stops these two hormones. So follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone are basically blocked by the birth control hormones. When you are on birth control, you're basically just taking progesterone. You're taking this progesterone and you're taking estrogen. There's a feedback loop that I don't have on here. Estrogen is going to help regulate follicle stimulating hormone. Progesterone regulates luteinizing hormone. So if we raise the levels of estrogen and progesterone in your body, you shut down making luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. And if you do that, you can't get pregnant because if you inhibit follicle stimulating hormone, you don't develop the follicle with the egg. And so you can't get pregnant if you don't have an egg. And luteinizing hormone is inhibited, which prevents you from ovulating your egg. So even if you make an egg and develop it in the follicle, the birth control prevents you from ovulating the egg by blocking luteinizing hormone. So we'll talk a lot more about this in the reproductive chapters, which, I always joke, ironically, is at the end of class. So, when we get into April and May, we'll be into the reproductive system. All right, well, that wraps up the different hormone handouts. I want to say thank you for watching. I'm upside down. Thank you for watching. And don't forget, this is hard, don't forget to study, especially in lab. Don't forget to study because you're going to need all that information for the test when I get back. By the way, this is all my insect collection. Look at my insect collection. That's all insects. Lots of insects. Butterflies. Lots of butterflies. Just drawers and drawers of butterflies. All right. I hope you had a good week. Review these videos. Look at the lab videos, and I'll see you later.